This is your News Source Evening Bulletin for today, Wednesday, the 9th day of November in the year 2022. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting. Here's what we're tracking tonight. Close to $2 billion in drugs and medical supplies are still to be delivered to the Ministry of Health for 2021. That's according to the Auditor General, Deodat Sharma, in his report on the public accounts of Guyana for 2021. In the report, he said accounts totaling $1.9 billion of drugs and medical supplies paid for had not yet been received. It was explained that only $9.2 million of the $1.9 billion advanced to suppliers was covered by bank guarantees, and as such, the ministry could find it difficult in recovering the difference if suppliers default on their deliveries. According to the Auditor General's report, the Ministry of Health received $14 billion in 2021 for the procurement of drugs and medical supplies, with the new GPC Incorporated receiving the lion's share of some $6.3 billion. The report said a sum of $7.3 billion was allotted on the line item 6221, drugs and medical supplies. The allotment transferred to the line item totaled $80.7 million, while supplementary allotment amounted to $6.6 billion. The total revised allotment amounted to $14 billion, which represents a 73% increase in allotment when compared to the previous year's expenditure. It was also noted that contracts totaling $7.3 billion were entered into with the new GPC. However, while the company was paid some $6.6 billion, over $478.9 million in supplies were not delivered. Another company, Western Scientific Company, received contracts totaling $3.2 billion from the Ministry of Health for the supply of drugs and medical supplies. However, over $695.7 million in supplies were still to be delivered for 2021. It was noted that some 94,464 doses of the Sputnik vaccine were also not delivered, but the Ministry of Health was able to get a refund. A special audit is also being done on the procurement of the COVID-19 vaccines. Meanwhile, the Auditor General's office also pointed out that the Health Ministry had initially received $5.2 billion for capital expenditure, plus an additional supplementary budget of $801 million. By the end of the year, more than $1.6 billion was not spent. More news coming up in just a moment.
It's been a long time coming. Overdue, some might say, but now that it's here, it will change life forever, and it is here to stay. The future is now, transforming Guyana into the 21st century. Introducing GTT Fiber. Experience internet connectivity like never before. Speeds you deserve at prices you can afford from a name you can trust. Sign up today. GTT Fiber is here. GTT. Together, we rise faster.
Giftland Office Max, we're all about customer satisfaction. Whether it's clothing and shoes for the ladies, gents, and kids, or for the latest electronics or hardware appliance, we're always thinking of satisfying you, our dear customers. Now you can shop online at www.giftlandofficemax.com or visit us at the Giftland Mall, where we're happy to serve each and every one of you.
It's November already and soon it will be Christmas, so we at John Lewis Styles are giving away one Amazon Echo show every week in November and every day in December. Stream music and videos, make video calls and control smart devices, alarms, reminders and lots more. Every $5,000 spent gives you a chance to win when you shop for clothing, footwear, watches, fragrances, handbags, luggage and accessories. So visit us on Waterloo Street. John Lewis Styles, simply different.
Mobile One is more than oil. It's many oils. It transforms at the molecular level. When cold, it's thicker than honey. When hot, it's thinner than water. Mobile One adapts and readapts to last longer. 16,000 kilometers between oil changes. That's your engine evolved.
Sol Guyana is the authorized distributor of mobile lubricants.
Get in the game with Buster. Win a full gaming setup, Xbox X, gaming chair, gaming speaker and headset, or any of over 60 weekly prizes like Oculus Quest 2, Mini 2 drone, Nintendo Switch, and many more top gaming prizes. Check below for details.
The opposition APNU-AFC this afternoon said it feels vindicated in its position that the current government has been engaged in what it calls massive corruption. Member of the Public Accounts Committee, Opposition Member of Parliament Ganesh Mahipal, said the 2021 annual report of the accounts of Guyana raises several accounting issues. He said the report is replete with cases of massive corruption, gross disrespect of financial law, and dereliction in the management of taxpayers' money.
The lack of transparency and accountability were well documented and noted. With reference to the Ministry of Health, it was found that an amount totaling $1.915 billion was paid for drugs and medical supplies but not delivered, and of that amount, only $9.294 million were covered by bank guarantees. This simply means that should the suppliers default on the supply of the drugs and medical supplies, the ministry will find it difficult to recover the difference of $1.906 billion.
In some ministries, Mr. Mahipal said the report points to gross misuse of public funds, and in some cases, there was no trace of what funds might have been used for. The Auditor General's report also flagged instances where money was not returned to the consolidated fund.
As it relates to the awarding of contracts in Region 9, it was found that the RDC awarded 8 contracts totaling $106.830 million to a contractor who is currently blacklisted up to the year 2030 by the Public Procurement Commission of Guyana. With reference to the violations to the Fiscal Management and Accountability Act of 2003, Section 43, there were 162 checks totaling $623.404 million still on hand, which should have been refunded to the consolidated fund.
According to the opposition member, the financial irregularities outlined cannot be ignored as they constitute serious breaches of the country's financial laws.
Guyanese, these among many other financial irregularities and abnormalities were unearthed, and I am sure when the accounting officers appear before the Public Accounts Committee, we will find lots more. But with the current attitude of the government side on the PAC, noting that it is them who changed the quorum of PAC and gave themselves full control in deciding whether a PAC can be held or not, it is my conclusion, and I'm sure you conclude the same too, that the PPPC government will continue to slow down the meetings of the PAC by way of absenting themselves and curtailing the hours of work with a clear intent to not examine their years of massive corruption.
The opposition has repeatedly accused the government of mishandling the country's finances and avoiding oversight. Well, let's tell you now that Canadian-based Guyanese attorney Selwyn Peters today asked High Court Judge Navindra Singh to recuse himself from the case challenging the legality of the Natural Resources Fund Act over what he described as judicial hostility on the part of the judge. But Justice Singh declined the application. Peters, who along with senior counsel Roysdale Ford is representing opposition chief whip Christopher Jones and trade unionist Norris Witter, the applicants in the matter, told the court that he has no confidence that Justice Singh will conduct a fair trial based on his posture on Tuesday. Mr. Peters said given that it was his first appearance before the court, senior counsel Ford attempted to introduce him to the judge. However, according to him, the judge said he doesn't care to be introduced to him. The attorney further contended that the judge then proceeded to raise an issue dating back to the 2016 Commission of Inquiry into the Camp Street prison unrest. But Justice Singh, in knocking down the allegations, said there was no basis for him to recuse himself. As such, he declined the request and proceeded with the matter. Outside the courtroom, the attorney maintained his lack of confidence in the judge's ability to fairly conduct the case. He said while Justice Singh ruled on the matter, the issue may arise before another judge. Offering more details on the matter, the attorney said due to the fact that he was appearing before the judge for the very first time, Ford offered to introduce him to the judge, but the reception was not welcoming. According to him, the judge appeared annoyed over issues that he, Peters, had raised regarding Guyana's judicial system during the 2016 Commission of Inquiry into the Camp Street prison. He said recently the Caribbean Court of Justice criticized the same judge over the hefty sentences that he had handed down in the Nisa Gopal case. Inside the courtroom, senior counsel Roysdale Ford told Justice Singh that the application made by Mr. Peters was based on the request of their client. Outside the courthouse, the Attorney General Anil Nandlal told reporters that he was shocked when the attorney asked the High Court judge to recuse himself. Well, almost 1 year after the landmark Local Content Act was passed in the National Assembly, it is undergoing review with the aim of addressing possible gaps. The Director of the Local Content Secretariat, Martin Patab, disclosed.
Going forward, of course, the intent of the Secretariat is to have that open discussion, work with key stakeholders as we strengthen the Local Content Act and, of course, close all possible loopholes. The idea, of course, is to while we continue to prioritize Guyanese national, it must be done in a sustainable manner. And again, as always, we will reach out to the contractors and subcontractors and key stakeholders as we move the local content agenda forward, and not having targets that are realistic and achievable, but of course that speak at the best interest of Guyanese.
Mr. Patab was at the time speaking during the opening ceremony of the Guyana Supplier Forum on Monday at the Lenora Stadium. The legislation creates special provisions for local companies and citizens to participate in 40 areas in the oil and gas sector. And according to Mr. Patab, over the last 10 months, the Local Content Secretariat has been working to develop the necessary institutional, administrative, and monitoring framework to help facilitate implementation of the Act. It was noted that the Local Content Secretariat has developed a portal with a list of all registered companies along with several guidelines.
One of those is the what we will refer to as the Procurement and Bid Evaluation Guideline. Under that guideline, companies register with us who have a valid local content certificate automatically will gain 5% of the evaluation points during the evaluation process. So traditionally, there are three criteria on that companies usually evaluate projects on. You have one, financial, you have technical, and then of course the health and safety. So essentially what we did, we had a fourth category which is on local content. The Act is quite clear on prioritizing Guyanese national, but how do we prioritize Guyanese national? Under the Procurement and Bid Evaluation Guide, and we add a fourth element which essentially, as a Guyanese company with a certificate, will earn 5% of the total score of the BAT by just having that certificate.
The official also pointed out that already 350 local companies have registered with the Secretariat, paving the way for them to be given preferential treatment in the award of contracts within the oil and gas industry. According to Patab, the Secretariat is on track to achieving the 500 registered companies target by the end of this year. He said the Local Content Secretariat is also working with oil and gas companies to ensure Guyanese are given the opportunity to significantly benefit from the petroleum sector. Based on preliminary assessments, local content earnings for this year so far have already surpassed 129 billion Guyana dollars.
Prioritization of Guyana is not only limited to companies providing goods and services to the industry, it also extends it to the recruiting process. Based on our annual plan, and I guess, again, this is at the aggregate level that these companies, the contractors, some contractors would have submitted to us, 836 new hires were estimated for this year. And this is from March to December. Based on the half-year plan that they would have submitted to us, we see, and of course, this of course is based on having ongoing discussion with the contractor and subcontractors, that figure is now 1,125 new jobs, which of course, and of the 1,125 new jobs, 858 were filled by Guyanese. So in other words, not only did we achieve our annual target within 6 months, but of that target, almost 100% was met by Guyanese nationals.
It was also noted that almost 80% of Guyanese who were hired recently are holding technical positions. Mr. Patab boasted that not only did the Secretariat achieve its annual target of new hires in just 6 months, but exceeded that amount by around 34%. He said initially contractors and subcontractors had committed to expend around $1.8 million on training. However, by the end of June of this year, the actual expenditure amounted to around $3.3 million, representing an increase of 83%.
Calling all prospective homeowners, the government of Guyana through the Ministry of Housing and Water will be rolling out its steel and cement housing subsidy program from Tuesday, October 25, 2022. Applicants must be a citizen of Guyana residing in the country, must be in possession of a title or transport for their house lot, must have an approved building plan and loan approval from a financial institution. Persons with a builder's estimate below $6 million can qualify for 1 sling of cement, 80 lengths of half-inch steel rods, and 63/8-inch rods. Those with builder's estimate ranging from $6 million to $25 million can qualify for 2 slings of cement. Application forms can be uplifted from the Ministry's Brickdam Main Office, Georgetown, and all regional housing offices from Tuesday, October 25, 2022. For more information and online applications, visit our website at chpa.gov.gy.
Census takers are visiting communities across Guyana and collecting information from every household. This information will help the government to plan better for our country's development. All the information shared will be treated as strictly confidential, and everyone is asked to participate. No one should be alarmed about any question asked, because the answers provided will help to improve living standards, decrease community crime rates, and improve access to housing and healthcare, among other benefits.
The census gives us the tool to identify some of these important gaps that exist across communities, within communities, and across regions, so that we can have targeted intervention.
Yeah, we counting way from region 1 to region 10, the whole country. Yeah, we counting way.
In the world of business, Republic Bank has announced a $228.4 million after-tax profit for the year ending September 30, 2022. That represents an increase of $32.6 million or 16.7% over the 2021 reported profits. In a statement, Republic Bank noted that the performance reflects the impact of the group's expansion, revenue diversification, and cost management strategies. The bank also said that the uptick in economic activity as well as the increase in yields in the US dollar dominated the financial year for the bank. The chairman of Republic Bank Financial Holdings, Vincent Pereira, said the bank's increased profits can be attributed to increased economic activities and relaxation of the COVID-19 measures in territories where Republic Bank operates. He said a resulting resurgence of economic activity, especially in the tourism-independent economies, augured well for the company. The chairman said while the group was faced with both challenges and uncertainty, it was able to deliver a good performance. He said during 2022, the group was able to strengthen its sustainability focus, adding capacity and execution capability to the group through the creation of an Office of Sustainability. Additionally, through the company's group flagship Power to Make a Difference program, it was able to forge a new and valued partnership with a number of NGOs. Republic Bank operates in 14 territories and has been steadily expanding its services here in Guyana. The government of Guyana and the European Union have signed a Forest Partnership Memorandum of Understanding, paving the way for Guyana to receive an initial €5 million grant to help with the preservation of its forests. For President Irfan Ali, the Forest Partnership MOU is timely.
The Forest Partnership between Guyana and the European Union is timely and underscores its strong commitment in continuing the bold ambition and innovative program on climate, environment, and forests. Guyana, therefore, welcomes this forest partnership. It is an integral aspect of our national plans to secure our patrimony, protect our environment, and promote sustainable forest management, and enhance livelihoods of our people.
The president delivered a virtual address at the signing of the MOU, which took place on the margins of the Climate Change Conference on Tuesday in Egypt. President Ali said Guyana and the European Union have shared a long and fruitful partnership, advancing work and shared priorities, and the MOU is another demonstration of their shared values on sustainable forest management and the protection of the environment.
The EU has been in the forefront of supporting our development efforts, including in areas of climate change, climate resilience, food security, biodiversity protection, and forest management. This collaboration is continuing through the launch today of this Forest Partnership. The partnership is defined by programs on forest protection, restoration and sustainable forest management, conservation and development, forest-based value chains, and investment.
Mr. Ali also noted that the Forest Partnership is being developed at a time when the world is concerned about the continuing adverse and devastating impact of climate change.
The Forest Partnership is underpinned by the recognition of the role of Guyana's pristine forests to the health and well-being of the global environment. Guyana forests are part of its natural patrimony. Our forests constitute a part of Guyana's rich natural capital and is abundant in valuable timber, minerals, and priceless biodiversity. Our forests provide food and shelter and support the livelihoods of thousands of Guyanese families.
He also pointed out that Guyana has one of the world's highest rates of forest cover and can be found within the Guyana Shield, one of the world's largest remaining tropical rainforest blocks that contains about 20% of the world's fresh water supply. The MOU was signed by President of the European Commission Ursula von der Leyen and Guyana's Minister of Natural Resources Vikram Bharat. He signed on behalf of the President. Mongolia, the Congo, Uganda, and Zambia also signed the Forest Partnership MOU with the European Union.
We counting we from region 1 to region 10, the whole country.
We've just completed our census interview. It's quite a simple process. Whenever the team comes to your home, kindly cooperate and get the interview done, because it's also important for the information to be available to us as a government to plan and implement our programs and projects for the development of Guyana, a development that you will benefit from.
We counting we from region 1 to region 10, the whole country.
Food Max Supermarket, located on the ground floor of the Giftland Mall, is your one-stop shop for all your grocery needs. We stock a variety of imported frozen meat and food products, fresh produce, and pet supplies, freshly made bread. Rotisserie chicken and patties are also available daily. Shop in comfort today at Food Max and let our courteous staff assist you in satisfying your shopping needs. Food Max, the fresh food specialist.
Rooms and more, Republic, a brand new rug on the floor. Come to Republic, come to Republic. Whatever you need, you got it. Come to and get your mortgage. Live the dream with Republic.
95 to 100% financing, 50% waiver of negotiation fees, plus one lucky person gets their mortgage paid in full. Turn someday into today. Talk to Republic Bank about your low-cost mortgage today.
Get in the game with Buster. Win a full gaming setup, Xbox X, gaming chair, gaming speaker and headset, or any of over 60 weekly prizes like Oculus Quest 2, Mini 2 drone, Nintendo Switch, and many more top gaming prizes. Check below for details.
Fuel it up and drive, Super 95. Tune up, fuel it up and drive, Super 95. Tune up. Protect your fuel system, boy. High mileage and performance, boy.
Guyana Super 95 gasoline gives you more reasons to drive and is available at 56 service stations nationwide. For affordable price, high performance, and high mileage, choose Guyana's Super 95 gasoline.
Fuel it up and drive.
Across the region tonight, the Prime Minister of Dominica, Roosevelt Scarrett, has said that the opposition United Workers' Party's decision to boycott the upcoming general election is their surrender to an inevitable defeat. At the public rally, the Prime Minister made fun of the UWP's recent leadership challenges, calling it a headless political party. The UWP said it was boycotting the snap election on the grounds that electoral reform, such as a clean voters list, is needed. The party said Scarrett's snap election is an affront to the country's democracy and an insult to its people. The UWP has urged President Charles Severin to revoke the calling of election by the Prime Minister. Scarrett has assured that the election will be free, fair, and will reflect the will of Dominicans. This evening, another tropical wave is approaching the Southern Caribbean. The Meteorological Office at the Maurice Bishop International Airport in Grenada has advised that an Atlantic tropical wave is approaching the island chain and is about 86 nautical miles east of Grenada and moving westward. The wave is engulfed in the ITCZ moisture and scattered moderate to isolated strong convection is observed. Based on its forward speed and model projections, the axis of the wave was expected to traverse the island chain this afternoon. Due to the approaching system, there will be an increase in cloudiness and rainfall across Grenada tonight. Winds may become gusty at times and seas may also be agitated, according to the weather report from Grenada. And finally tonight, international news. Russia's military has been ordered to pull out of the Ukrainian city of Kherson, the only regional capital it captured after invading in February. Russia's commander in Ukraine, General Sergei Surovkin, said it was no longer possible to keep supplying the city. The withdrawal means Russian forces will pull out entirely from the western bank of the river Dnipro. It is a significant blow as Russia faces a Ukrainian counter-offensive. The military top brass announced the decision on Russian state TV, with the general reporting on the situation on the ground in Kherson. Russian President Vladimir Putin did not take part in the staged event. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting and encouraging you to have a safe and enjoyable night.